Hello guys, my name is Milla. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about, is the S&P 500 ETF, VOO, the single best investment you can make in your life? So this is going to be a video, if anyone is a beginner investing, want to know what is the best investment you can make in your life. In this video, we're talking about why VOO, or the S&P 500, is the best ETF or stock to do that. So we're going to talk about this with a few infographics and some, images to describe why it's the best investment. So thank you so much to Personal Finance Club or Mr. Jeremy for bringing some of these infographics. I also took this idea from Professor G. I don't know if you guys know him, but shout out to him as well for that. So let's get started with this video. So in this infographic, it says where to put $10,000. Based on the last 40 years, projections for the next 40. So we have 4 different investments. We have a car with a negative 10% return. So if you have $10,000 in a car, in 40 years, it'll be worth roughly $147. If we have a savings account with an average return of 2.5%, in 40 years with $10,000, we're going to have $26,850. And if we have our primary home, if you invest in your home with like $10,000 in it, with a rate of return of 4.1%, 40 years, that will be $49,891. Not a bad return. But if we have it in the S&P 500 on the bottom here, with a 12.2% average return over the next 40 years, we will actually have nearly $1 million or $999,342. A lot of people are going to be wondering, what is the S&P 500? So VOO is basically a Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, where VOO is the stock that you'll be investing in. Now, VOO is an ETF that is an index fund. Now, what is an index fund? An index fund is basically a fund or investment that tracks a specific index. This index being the S&P 500. So a lot of people are going to be wondering, what is an ETF? In the most simplest terms, I made an infographic actually, and it says Investing Basics, how an ETF works. So on the top left, we're going to see 4 different stocks: Apple, Twitter, before it got bought out, Microsoft, and Shopify. So if we have like 4 stocks in this basket, because an ETF is essentially like a big basket, we're going to have 25% allocated to each of these 4 stocks equals 1 ETF share. So let's theoretically say that we have an ETF where this is all in 1 share. So ETFs work like a basket of stocks that all move independently. Profits and losses from each piece get pulled together and you gain or lose the difference. For example, let's just say in a year, you invested $100 in each of the in one of these shares in this ETF, and let's just say Microsoft, you got went up by $20, $30 with Shopify, -5 with Apple, and -10 with Twitter. So all these pulled together with a 25% allocation each equals $35. So even though you have some losses like in Apple and Twitter, and you have actually some gains like in Shopify and Microsoft, you will actually gain money. So the ETF like VOO has over 500 stocks. It's not going to be 500 exactly, but the S&P 500 is essentially 500 of the largest companies in the United States. So we're going to use Seeking Alpha to see this, allocation. So if we look at the holdings of VOO, we can see that it has right here 509 stocks inside of it. And some of the top stocks are going to be like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia, Alphabet, Tesla, etc. So when you're buying this stock, you're not just buying one share in like VOO, you're essentially owning all these companies. So with like one share is $380, with that $380, you're buying technically the whole 500 stocks in the United States, the biggest, the best, the biggest dogs in the stock market. And a lot of people are going to be wondering, what's the return on this, or why is it a great ETF? If we look at, the momentum, it's got an A minus from momentum because of the returns have been great over the last, since inception of this stock and this ETF. The expenses is an A plus. It's very low expense ratio of 0.3%. It has amazing dividends, a B plus for dividends. So you do get a dividend when you're investing in this ETF. So what dividend is basically a payout from stocks or companies to you as an investor for holding that stock. So most likely these profitable companies want to share these profits with you as an investor. So not only do you get share price appreciation, you also get dividends from this stock. And it's an A on the risk scale because yes, it is risky to invest in stocks, but you do get rewarded for it. And of course, it's going to have an A+ in liquidity because we want to pull out our money like we do with like a bank, just for liquidity purposes and for peace of mind. If we look at the returns on this stock in the past, if you look at the max returns since inception with VOO, in the past 10 years, it just keeps on going up over time. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road when you invest in a stock like this, but over time, it's still going to be going up if you believe in the stock market and if you believe in the U.S. economy. So as you can see, there's some bumps in the road. 2018, of course, 2020 with the whole pandemic, and there's a little bit of a bump right now with a lot of the environment that we're going through. But as you can see, this chart, the stock market just keeps on going up over time. In the past 10 years, we see 162% returns. Past 5 years, 55.31% returns. And the past year's down nearly 7%. But as you can see, over time, if you scope out, most likely the stock market or the S&P 500 will go up over time. Now, there's a different mentality you want to have when you're investing in a stock like this. A lot of people are going to be wondering, you're going to be seeing a lot of things online, like crypto or different stock market strategies, different news outlets. And I urge you to stay away from that. And in my opinion, if you're going to be investing in a stock like VOO, it's never too late. I made this infographic. Your boy made this infographic. So I made it and said, 4 everyday people of different ages started investing into an index fund that returns 10% per year. So the S&P 500 returns around 10% per year. Depends on if it's a positive year or a negative year. But on average, it will return 10% per year. So let's just say Stacy's 15 and invests $180 a month. Sophia's 25 and invests $365 a month. Sammy's 35 and invests $765 a month. And Dan is 45 and invests $1,740 per month. So when they turn 65, their portfolios will be worth over $1 million. So you can see from this image, all these people have different ages, different circumstances, different backgrounds. And I feel like when you go on YouTube and you see like all these people have all this money, I can name a lot from the top of my head, like Joseph Carlson or Andre Jink, Graham Stephan, right? All these people have a lot of money and they invest in the stock market. And it might seem intimidating, but it could be as simple as just $180 a month. And as you get older, maybe over $1,000 a month or something like that. You know what I mean? It's never too late to achieve your financial goals. And the power of VOO is so strong because of the returns to outperform like something like inflation and a savings account. So saving versus investing, right? A lot of people, I get comments or like vents that they say, I love saving my money. I don't want to invest it. And I want to just show you an infographic on what, I made this by the way, on what happens when you save versus you invest. So let's say Adam here saves $500 a month in his bank at a 0.70% interest rate. And Ali invests $500 a month in the S&P 500 at a 10% growth rate. So over time, their portfolio is going to be worth over $2 million and $276,000. I think it's going to be like a 40-year time horizon, I believe. I didn't put like the exact year, but over time, if you invest, you will most likely outperform people who save their money. And that's going to be my mindset is whenever I invest in something like VOO, it's my top holding. I treat it as a savings account. I put it in. I don't care what the price is most likely. I set it and forget it and treat it like a savings account because I know one day when I do need that money way back in the future, I know I could pull out from it with hopefully a lot of gains and a lot of appreciation in my portfolio. Personal Finance Club, Mr. Jeremy is a multi-millionaire with index funds. I believe one of his primary holdings is the S&P 500, or maybe it's the total stock market. But over time, you'll see gains like this, right? So he had a $245,000 month. And it says, while news headlines are dominated by recession and layoff fears, my buy and hold index fund strategy has earned over $245,000 over the past month. So you're going to see a lot of headlines when you invest, especially in the S&P 500. You're going to see recession, layoff fears, bad earnings reports, the world's gonna like blow up or something, right? But if you just keep your investment strategy, you will see gains like this, and you will have like one day, like you'll have over what $245,000 in returns in a month, and your money will just compound and compound over time to where money might not ever be a problem for you, to the point where you can actually retire and travel and have money to give and do all these extra things, right? And like I said, investing might seem super pretty and super flowery when you see on the YouTube or Instagram, these people making all this quote unquote like gains in the stock market. It's never pretty every day, right? You're gonna have some really bad losses. For example, like this is probably like in 2020, maybe even like this past year, when there was almost a 2% drop in the stock market in one day. And Mr. Jeremy said, down days are part of investing, but they're the cost of admission to realize the massive long-term growth. So for example, a negative $45,000 day doesn't faze him, and it shouldn't faze you when you invest in something like VOO or anything else in the stock market. And the last thing, of course, is going to be to never chase returns. For example, like in 2020, when all these stocks are going up, Peloton 400%, Zoom 400%, Pinterest 250%, Square 248%, Zillow 183%, Spotify 110%. And these people get so excited and they jump on these stocks, and we've seen, 2 years later, all these stocks are down like 80%, 66%, 60%, 36%, 60%, 54%. Like, if you just invested in like VOO, like in 2020, over time, it's going to be going up and up and up. And obviously 2022 had a bad year, but it's not going to be like as bad as like 60% loss. It's going to be like 12% or something. And of course, we're going to see it, bounce up like in the year to date, and since June or January to now, it's actually up almost 9%. So these stocks will come back over time if you do believe in, your investing thesis and the stock market. Let's just look back at my gains in my portfolio. $13,654 only in VOO, by the way. And we could see my investment returns are over $2,000 in gains. I don't really look at this a lot. I'm still in college, or and soon I'll have a full-time job and I'll invest a lot more money. But coming from somebody who's worked a lot of, minimum wage jobs and stuff while getting through school and while doing my other extracurricular things, this is what I've ended up with, right? $2,000 in gains and treated like a savings account. So you see we have like you're going to say, Marcos, like, why is it 7.9% rate of return? Vanguard actually calculates it very differently. So for example, like if you invest like $100 a month, if you invest $100 like in 2020, of course your gain's going to be like 50%, right? But if I invested like $100 last month and my portfolio is at $13,000, most likely went up like a 0.5% or something. It's not going to be total gain over time, right? So that $2,000 gain is actually over time with every buy I made. That all that money actually appreciated at different moments in time and at different prices and at different drops and gains and stuff like that. So as you can see over time, we have a balance of transactions. $3,000 I bought stock in May of 2020. And as you can see, the green line is my ending balance and the yellow line is my purchases. And as you can see over time, as I keep on buying, that graph just gets exponentially larger with the amount of money I'm making. So as I treat it like a savings account, as you can see, $100 buy, I don't buy in that month, I'm buying over time, that gain gets larger and larger over time. And my investing return since inception, like 68 cents, I think like that in May, I made like 68 cents over time, $500, $1,000, $2,000 gains. And at the top, it was over $3,000 in return. Of course, choppy year, 2022, 2023, we're back up over $2,000. And I actually bought a lot of stock in this drop right here, as you can see, which if it recovered back to all-time highs, I would have maybe almost $5,000, something like that. So they're going to see, I bought on the Vanguard, about $5 in one stock, and then I raised it $20, $3,000, and then $600 buys. But you can see my gain right here. It keeps on going up over time. If I believe in the market and I believe in the dividends I get and I believe in the gains I receive in this stock, and over time, the portfolio is now at $13,000. I have another portfolio with Fidelity. Yeah. And if we look at an investment calculator, let's just say, I had $3,000 in May, and in like 40 years, that's when I plan to retire maybe. Let's say a 10% return with this investment calculator, and let's say I put $1,000 at the end of each month. And so when I turn 62, I will have over $5 million in the stock market with this ETF. And I know you guys going to be like, oh my God, like that's a lot of money, but I don't have a lot of money to invest, right? So let's just say you have like $100 to start with, and you have like a 40-year time horizon, and you had $100 or like $300 at the end of each month. You invested, it's like $5 a day. You're going to have well over almost $2 million, $1.669 million in your portfolio. So in my opinion, if you're looking for an ETF that's super set it and forget it, and you want to invest in it for a while, you don't plan on looking at maybe the stock price, trust me, you could do the research, you could buy VOO, not financial advice, but it's just my opinion and what a lot of people have been doing and writing about for the longest time. And I feel like people are going to be wondering like, how can I do it? Step one is going to be, of course, opening up a brokerage account. Some of the best top of my head is going to be like Vanguard, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, M1, Webull, E-Trade, etc. There's so many brokerage accounts. You just link your bank account to your brokerage accounts, and you just click buy and invest. And over time, I promise you, like in 5 or 10 years, over time, just don't check it, and you'll make a lot of money over time. And maybe some people have different situations, right? We're all dealt with different cards in life, and I feel like the best thing you can do financially is to, of course, save for your future. But in school, you're taught to save, right? But I feel like the world maybe misplaced the word save from invest, because actually the goal is to invest. And when you're investing, if you're investing in good mutual funds, good index funds, good ETFs, over time you will make a good return. And I feel like this all sounds like super easy, right? I have this investing calculator, put in a couple numbers, over time I have over $1 million, right? It's not so easy, right? There's gonna be some days where the stock market is gonna be red. There's gonna be some days where you crash your car. There's gonna be some days where your wallet gets stolen, where you're gonna have a loss in the family, a job loss, a setback, something, right? Everything will deter us from our investing in financial goals. But over time, if you work hard, you become a more valuable human being, maybe a more knowledgeable, valuable, worthy human being, earn more money over time, save that money over time. Don't do dumb things that might deter you from your goals, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. You will be successful in investing. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of comments saying, there's other ETFs like SCHD, VTI. Like, yes, there is other ETFs to become wealthy on. And trust me, I can name a whole bunch that could do the same thing as VOO, or maybe even do it better. But like I said, this is for beginners, and you guys can do the research on VOO with SP 500, and over time, you can really look yourself in the mirror maybe one day, maybe thank me, maybe thank yourself for doing it, because at the end it is your decision. So that's pretty much it. That's my video. I love you guys so much. Hopefully you had a great day, and hopefully you had a great night. Now, please like this video because this cute puppy did. And comment down below if you guys love VOO as much as I do. And, hopefully you guys can also comment maybe ETF you're investing in, or a stock that you are bullish on, and give me a thumbs up for something like that for the boys or the girls. And hopefully you guys have a great night. Love you guys. Peace.